couple of days ago, I had the absolute pleasure of visiting KoAloha. Now, my first real deep dive into ukulele collecting was with KoAlohas. I've always loved their concerts and sopranos. Their tenors are fantastic too. They have so many quirky elements to them, and I was really excited to see how much of those quirky elements translated into the people. I'd met some of the Akami family before, but Pops Akami in particular, the man who started KoAloha, I'd been told, I hope you meet Pops, I hope you meet Pops. Even going back 10 years, when Rob visited KoAloha at their old factory, he said to me, he's like, I sat and ate lunch with them and I met Pops and I spent half the day with Pops. I had a very similar experience. I arrived first thing, so I have to admit, I think I caught them a bit off guard. They knew I was coming, but I didn't think they expected me to be kind of like head through the door half an hour before they opened. So that's on me. But when I got to sit down with the team there, Brian and Paul, they're just really lovely, articulate, polite and warm human beings. I got the same experience everywhere I went, but with the Akamis, there's a sense that at the moment they may be going for a bit of a transition. 5 years ago, pre-COVID, they had a bigger plant with more workers, and they've had to navigate those changes whilst keeping up with the output and the demand for their instruments. And they've done that very well. So there's a few of the senior team there. I met Albert and Grizz. Both those guys are senior builders there that are involved in the red labels and black labels when they are being made. And that's actually a question a lot of people had, is what's happening with the KoAloha custom ukuleles that were so prevalent 4 or 5 years ago. They actually stopped building them for a time in 2022 as they scaled down their production. They were kind of making sure that the core products, the things that we know from them, were being made. And they're doing that with a view to expand this year. So the idea this year is that they'll be doing more of the red label models, so custom models with abalone and some bling to them, as well as introducing 2 new things that I think are really noteworthy and need to be talked about. The first, I took some footage of, and with permission, I'm going to show you. They are launching a solid body ukulele this year, so a solid body electric instrument, a slimline, which I think, given KoAloha in their quirky way, it's going to have something a bit unique about it. So I've got one of them on order. That when they are completed and launched, we will have one at Southern Ukulele Store. And they're also introducing, after many years of development, their first baritone model this year. That's due to be completed and launched around April, May time. But these things, they're always delayed, aren't they? So let's say by the end of the summer, we should have our first KoAloha baritone ukulele. I asked Paul Akami, who's kind of head of production and head of things there at KoAloha, along with his brother Alan. I said, do you mind if I talk about this in the video? And he laughed. He said, man, I miss deadlines all the time. I'm not going to feel it if if you say it and I can't deliver. We do our best. I noted as well that Paul's sons and nephews are building the KoAlohas now, so the next generation of the family is involved in the process, as with Kanalea and Kamaka. And then I got to meet Pops. Pops is the most eccentric and excited human being I've ever met. So much energy, quite a petite man, just very happy, always smiling. He didn't really know why I was there, but when I explained to him, what I do, talking to you folks, he was so fascinated. We spent ages just talking about it, and I felt really selfish. And as we diverted the conversation on, he was telling me about a friend of his, a chap known as Pastor Cow, the nickname being Holy Cow. I like that, who is a really talented artist and pyrographer? What would you say? I don't know. And he's currently building his Uke SA ukuleles. He has his own corner of the KoAloha factory, and he goes in and he builds what he wants. And he's really enjoying doing these detailed pieces at the moment where he takes the artwork. I think he sends loads of pine tops to his friend, and his friend makes art with them, and then Pops Akami assembles them. And as you can imagine, for him, I think working with other creative people at a later point in his life is what it's all about. Everyone always talks about aloha spirit, and I think us Brits, it's really hard to kind of get into the vibe of that. But within seconds of meeting Pops Akami, I just wanted to share it with all of you. He even played a few songs for me on one of his ukuleles, so I'm going to show you one of them now.
You can do it if you try. You can do it if you try. When you are down, ready to quit, nothing makes sense, 'cause nothing will fit. I understand, 'cause I have been there. I know that place, the place called despair. Don't give up, don't give in. Yes, you win. This is why I know you can do it if you try. What you must do, you're not alone. Just follow the truth and don't be afraid, 'cause you've come so far. Look straight ahead at that certain star, and don't you give up, don't give in. Yes, you win. This is why I know you can do it. I know I can do it. We know we can do it if we try.
Thank you so much. That's so lovely. It was a shame I had nothing new really that I could play while I was at KoAloha, but please don't let that deter you from thinking that things are really moving there. You know, we did that custom run of cedar models with them last year, and Ukulele site have done a similar thing. And I think as this year progresses, they're looking to expand more and just diversify away from doing their standard Koa and Mango models, but they will still, of course, be making them. In fact, I even put my foot in it because at one point I said, you know, I feel like in the last year, the QC, the quality control and the finish has got even better. And Paul Akami kind of turned to the young team and said, that's them. You know, these are the guys sanding things and getting them right. And the smaller operation has definitely benefited the overall quality of a KoAloha ukulele in its own way. Pops was gracious enough to let me play one of his pineapple ukuleles. So I'm going to finish this video by giving that a little play for you now.